Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole is all elite. We are watching the post all out BTE. What a show. What a weekend of wrestling. Let's get into it after this. What's going on, people? It's GG at GG on Wrestling on Twitter. Make sure you check out figtees.co.uk for all your wrestling figure custom shirts. Use code GGPod and save yourself 15%. Also, check out the podcast. There's something about wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from. Today we are looking at BTE episode 272, which is titled Back from the Dead. And of course, that is a reference to the one of the newest signings for AEW, and that is the man himself, Adam Cole, Bay Bay. We start this week with a seance, of course. Our dear friend Adam Cole has been dead for 4 years in kayfabe. And Kenny's organized a seance. He said he's got help from the satanic members of the AEW roster, referring to Malachi Black, who told him that the seance would work. Carl Anderson, actually, before that happens, Kenny Omega references all these WWE guys. Sometimes they're skinny, sometimes they're fat, and he hates them all. Carl Anderson quips back to say, WWE sucks, and Matt Jackson, of course, reminds him, you can't say that, you will get cancelled. Carl Anderson obviously got in trouble on Twitter recently, so that was a little reference to that. Much to their surprise, they all walk out. Nick makes the first move. This isn't going to work, I'm effing out of here. But as soon as they're gone, he appears, the man, back on BTE for the first time in a long time. He's obviously confused. He's been dead for 4 years. And he says, this isn't Reseda, California. And he starts calling for Super Dragon, which was hilarious. But yeah, Adam Cole is all elite. What a debut. What a show. If you haven't, check out WrestleManiac UK. Check out his channel anyway and make sure you're subscribed. But all his reactions from us, Mandem, me, Rest Things, and everyone else that was involved. Check out our reactions to the debuts on Sunday, because that is a good watch. Next, we get to see the back of a mysterious figure in a long wig. We assume it's Matt Jackson. Nick's telling him, you need to get your gear on. He turns around, and of course it is Carl Anderson in a wig. He says he's just having a good time. And he goes to get a drink. We all know what's going to happen. Sour Boy makes his self known on this episode for the first time, and it's all to do with the Pfizer jab. I'm not sure what the reference is here, but I don't know if they're anti-vaxxers or what the issue is. But Matt Jackson says, he asks, have you got any vaccine? Have you got any Pfizer? And Matt Jackson jabs it in his butt, and he then becomes Sour Boy. Jiminy Quickets, we have a problem. Is still wearing a bit thin, but the Young Bucks are clearly still getting a kick out of it. Even though they say that Sour Boy's the worst, they clearly rate him. We then see some footage from Dynamite and the big tag match, and we see Carl Anderson. I didn't see this on the show itself, but Carl Anderson points to the crowd, and there's a kind of head cut out of him in the Sour Boy. We're doing the Sour Boy face, so that was quite cool. We move on to get an update from Matt Jackson regarding his Dior's. The airline are not helping, even though he's a million miler, something, that's what he called it. He's obviously got a good amount of air mileage with all the traveling that the Bucks do. When he says about the 1,000,000 miles, they do say, ask him if that's net worth, and he obviously says it would be a lot more flossing. I did fail to mention this last week because we did get a very short Lever Bates segment, who was reviewing all the old, or looking at the films that they referenced, basically. And then we get Peter Avalon and Lever Bates stood next to one another. Peter Avalon has the Britney Spears top on. Leva Bates has a top from Justin Timberlake, and they have a conversation just referencing song titles from both artists, ending with Peter Avalon, the easy set himself up for it. Oops, I did it again. Not great segment, but is what it is. We then get some footage of Kenny and the Bucks in a restaurant. They're talking about getting the bill. They open it. Kenny says, "Oh, I've got it this time, guys. Don't worry, I've got it this time." Even offering to pay for Brandon Cutler, which I thought was good move of him. I wouldn't expect them guys to pay for him. They open the check and they see Ric Flair has picked up the tab. I actually thought this was a work. Well, it may still be a work, but in terms of, I didn't actually think that was Ric Flair at first when I first see it. But watching Sammy's vlog, he was clearly in the area because there was a nice little backstage segment of him and Marco Stunt wooing together. So I think it actually was the real Ric Flair. I'm not sure if him paying for their food was a shoot or not. I would love to find out. If anyone knows, if anyone can find that out, hit me up at GG on Wrestling or comment below. We then get a very short snippet of the Young Bucks training for their steel cage match, just doing cardio, and Nick Jackson is just throwing the double bird on the treadmill, the cross trainer, isn't it, I believe, which I can just assume that he works out like that all the time, just flipping the bird. It's just the kind of guy he is. Before we carry on with this episode, guys, I'm going to take 1 second for you to drop a like. Yeah, and the subscribe button. Perfect. Next, we get a little conversation between Brandon Cutler and Matt Jackson backstage. This is clearly before the cage match at All Out. Matt Jackson saying he's got a plan, although he probably doesn't need to use it. He says the BTE trigger always works, but if he does need it, there's something in the black bag that Brandon Cutler needs to throw over this steel cage. They reference how high this cage is, 25 feet. Everyone was quite surprised that Brandon Cutler was able to nail that throw. It was quite a decent throw over quite a big height, but he did nail it. We obviously know what was in the bag, but Matt Jackson just says he's been doing some DIY or some arts and crafts, I think he says. We get then some shots of that cage match, and what a cage match it was. Was it the best cage match of all time? I'm thinking yes, but let me know what you thought of that cage match. Drop down below. Was it the best cage match of all time? Or drop something that you think, or a cage match that you think was better. Let me know. If you think I'm wrong, tell me. But yeah, we get some crazy footage of that match. Please make sure you check that out at least. If you haven't seen any of All Out, very, very rewarding. Check it out. Hard hitting, crazy spots, very gruesome, but brilliant. I can't say enough good things about that cage match. We then, after the kind of compilation and clips of that match, we get the little backstage footage of the Bucks clearly beaten and bruised. Matt's nursing his neck, clearly after that top rope Canadian destroyer, which looked horrible. And Nick Jackson is nursing a shin with an ice pack on it. And we get a lovely, lovely shot. I love this shot of the Travis Scott Jordans that were modified with the tacks on the bottom of it. And they're covered in blood. But that was such a good little shot. We then get the man, Adam Cole, Bebe, another shot of him, and he's waiting backstage just before he goes out. They keep doing these, which I think is just great. Just that little snippet of just that moment before they come out, just to see what they're feeling and get a gauge of their energy going out, which was really cool. And we can hear the pop from behind the curtain, and what a massive pop it was. We then get a shot of Daniel Bryan doing the same thing. 2 massive debuts at All Out, and 2 massive, massive pops. And the closing shot of this week's BTE was, of course, Adam Cole coming back through the curtain, embracing his fellow elite members, embracing Nick Jackson, embracing Matt Jackson, and of course, embracing his lovely young lady, his lovely woman, the women's champion, still women's champion, Britt Baker, DMD. Fairly decent show this week. Not a lot to write home about. There was a little Ryan Namath segment where he's just down in cream again. Still got a problem, but yeah, that is still really going over my head. I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, another fairly strong week. Some good insight into what's the happenings. My favorite part was either maybe the Young Bucks referring to themselves in the restaurant as Ric Flair in his prime, but a tag team, which was quite a bold statement. I'll let you guys make your mind up about that. Comment below if you think that's accurate. And yeah, just seeing Adam Cole back in BTE. Going forward, we should get some real fun moments with all the elite back together. Maybe we'll see how Adam Cole feels about Sour Boy. Watch this space. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at GG on Wrestling. Make sure you use figtees.co.uk for all your custom figure shirts, and use code GGPod to save yourself some monies. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, and have a good evening. I hope you all enjoyed All Out as much as I did. Wrestling is in a very good place right now, and I'm over the moon. But that'll be it today, guys. Join me again next week for more BTE reviews. Respect yourself. Don't neglect yourself. Baby. Peace.